What if a tragic 1950s poem by Sylvia Plath is actually the secret code to the biggest pop song of 2026? Or is Olivia Rodrigo's latest hit a romantic masterpiece or a masterclass in aggressive capitalism?
Oh, wow, just throwing us right into the deep end today. I love it. We are talking high art colliding with, cold, hard economics.
Welcome to the deep dive. We have got a massive mission today. We are unpacking Olivia Rodrigo's highly anticipated April 2026 single, Drop Dead.
Styled entirely in lowercase, obviously.
Obviously, it is the lead track from her upcoming third album, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. And for you listening, we're pulling from deep dive literary critiques, Billboard economic reports, viral TikTok sociology, the whole spectrum.
Yeah, that title, by the way, perfectly captures that specific brand of 20-something existential dread, but masked as casual observation.
Completely. And the gravity of this release is just massive. I mean, we are looking at a full 3-year gap since GUTS.
Right, and 5 years since Hour. In the modern music industry, where artists are basically pressured to feed this streaming algorithm every 6 months, a 3-year hiatus is, well, it's essentially an eternity.
It's unheard of right now.
Exactly. It signals a very deliberate pivot from a viral teen sensation to a genuine legacy artist.
And you can physically see that pivot happening in the marketing. The rollout for this was a masterclass in building physical, real-world hype.
Oh, the murals.
Yes. Her team took over these massive promotional murals in Los Angeles, initially painting them in her signature SR and GUTS lavender purple.
Right.
But then over the course of 8 days, locals watched as painters slowly blended the walls into this soft, hazy pink before finally revealing the new album title.
And they paired that with hiding those physical, vintage, heart-shaped padlocks in major global cities, right? London, Paris, New York, LA.
Yeah, which is just brilliant.
It's a genius way to incite fever pitch engagement. They're forcing fans to, leave their screens and interact with the physical environment to unlock the digital era. It's a very visual shedding of the skin.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because that visual fading of the lad purple walls into a softer pink, it isn't just a marketing stunt. It's a literal map of what she has done to the music itself.
Oh, 100%.
We are leaving that teenage, angst-driven pop-punk era entirely behind. Drop dead steps into this incredibly lush, mature 80s alternative and dream pop landscape.
The whole architecture of the sound has been gutted and rebuilt. Danny Groh's still in the producer's chair. He's been her primary collaborator from day one, obviously.
Right.
But the alchemy completely changed when they brought in Amy Allen as a co-writer.
She just won the 2025 Grammy for Songwriter of the Year, right?
Exactly. And her signature studio philosophy is something called melodic hierarchy.
Melodic hierarchy, which sounds a bit like a corporate seating chart to me.
It really does. But it's actually about physically suppressing the early parts of the song, so the chorus hits way harder. It's the strategic, almost mathematical design of the frequencies.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Amy Allen and Dan Nigro practice what they call lyrical restraint in the verses. So they intentionally pull the heavy bass lines and the driving percussion out of the mix.
So they keep the synthesizers incredibly light, almost fragile.
Yes. And Rodrigo's vocals in those early moments are almost spoken, hovering just above a whisper. It's very reminiscent of that talking style delivery she used on Bad Idea, right?
It's like pulling back a slingshot. They use that lyrical restraint in the verses to build all this tension, and the chorus is the release.
And that release is engineered to be a literal explosion. When the chorus hits, Nigro just floods the track. He stacks her vocals, layering them over and over with the exact right amount of reverb to create this dreamlike width.
And then Paul Cartwright brings in those intricate, swooping string arrangements.
Yeah, layered over a driving, almost Cure-esque indie rock drum beat. Critics are universally describing it as feeling completely love-drunk.
But, with modern pop music sounding so algorithmic these days, does this rigid melodic hierarchy feel manufactured? Or does it actually sound human to you?
What's fascinating here is that critics actually laud the track as deeply sincere and human. It completely counteracts that whole AI-generated pop trend.
Really? Even with all that meticulous engineering?
Yeah. The mixing by Neil Pogue, the mastering by Mike Bodsey, it all comes together to feel deeply raw. It sounds like a real person overwhelmed by real emotions. Insiders are already ranking it as her second greatest musical achievement.
Sitting right between Vampire at #1 and Driver's License at #3, I bet.
Exactly.
Well, that deeply human vulnerability brings us to the actual words she's singing, because
Yeah.
this euphoric musical explosion is basically a Trojan horse for some incredibly dark, high-stakes literary references.
Lyrics are wild.
The song title itself, Drop Dead, isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a direct bridge to Sylvia Plath's 1953 poem, Mad Girl's Love Song.
The intertextuality there is just brilliant. Plath's poem features this haunting refrain. She says, "I shut my eyes and all the world drops dead. I think I made you up inside my head."
And in its original 1950s confessional poetry context, that line is about the terror of a mental breakdown, right?
Yeah, it's the narrator terrified that the person they love and the world they are living in is just a figment of their own fracturing psyche.
But Rodrigo takes that specific line, lifts it out of the 50s, and completely flips it.
She transforms the collapse into a celebration. Instead of the world dropping dead as a symbol of despair, she uses it as a symbol of ultimate romantic euphoria.
Look at how she structures the lyrics. She sings, "You're so, so pretty, boy. I'm paranoid I made you up," which directly mirrors Plath.
Right.
And then later she hits you with, "The most alive I've ever been, but kiss me and I might drop dead."
It perfectly encapsulates the paradox of intense new love. It's that terrifying moment where you feel more alive than you ever have, but the emotion is so overpowering, you feel like your heart could literally stop.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Is this just a love song, or is she actually writing a thesis on romantic projection? Because she is setting up these life or death stakes based on the mere idea of a person.
The lyrics heavily point toward a study in romantic projection. She is falling in love with the fantasy, and she winks at the audience about this by explicitly paying homage to the absolute masters of romantic projection, The Cure.
Yes, the Robert Smith name drop. She sings, "You know all the words to Just Like Heaven, and I know why he wrote them, now that you're standing right here."
And Just Like Heaven is widely considered the ultimate modern anthem about idealizing a lover in your imagination. By saying she understands why he wrote it, she's actively having a conversation with past legends.
And this goes beyond lyrics. Like, fans will remember she literally brought Robert Smith out on the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury in 2025 to perform it with her.
Which was iconic. She is building physical bridges across generations, connecting Gen Z to 80s goth pop.
And her pen just keeps getting sharper. She has this knack for smashing together the most annoying realities of life with sheer grandeur. Take the chorus couplet, all pressed up in the bathroom line, "You looking like an angel on the walls of Versailles."
A masterclass in lyrical contrast. You have the sticky, uncomfortable reality of waiting in a crowded club bathroom, placed right next to the sacred beauty of an angel painted inside a French palace.
It perfectly captures how falling in love makes even the ugliest moments feel divine. And there's a physiological reason that specific line works so well when she belts it out, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. The phonetics of it. The vocal engineering of the rhyme scheme is completely deliberate.
How so?
When she sings the word Versailles, she leans heavily into that open, vowel sound. It creates a perfect booming vowel rhyme with the word line right before it.
Oh.
Yeah, dropping your jaw on an open vowel allows a singer to project significantly more vocal power from their diaphragm. It physically opens up her throat, allowing the emotion to punch right through that heavy wall of synthesizers.
So we have 1950s literature, 80s dream pop, and masterful vocal engineering. But let's take that concept of romantic projection out of the studio and into the listener's actual living room.
Yes, because listeners are aggressively projecting their own messy romantic lives onto the internet using this song.
Exactly.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the release of Drop Dead didn't just impact the Billboard charts. It created a massive sociological shift on TikTok.
Around one specific hyper-relatable lyric, "Oh, one night I was bored in bed and stalked you on the internet," it's feminine intuition.
The feminine intuition trend.
Think about the last time you stalked an ex's new partner online or dug 10 years back into a crush's Instagram feed. It feels invasive, right? It carries a lot of shame.
Totally.
But Rodrigo is giving you permission to rebrand your own 2 a.m. doom scrolling.
Sociologically, it's a brilliant coping mechanism. The TikTok trend takes that uncomfortable human behavior and completely reframes it through a cinematic lens.
Like all those soft-lit, moody clips of people looking mysterious in their bedrooms.
Exactly. The song provides a template. It gives fans an artistic excuse to take their obsessive anxiety and rename it as an aesthetic origin story. You aren't creeping on someone's page, you're just an intuitive dreamer.
But are we just letting a catchy melody romanticize borderline toxic behavior by calling it intuition? I mean, she even bakes her own astrological lore into it to justify the messiness.
Oh, the Pisces and a Gemini line.
Right.
Yeah.
She leans hard into her identity as a spicy Pisces, someone who
Uh-huh.
feels everything deeply and maybe lacks boundaries. And fans immediately weaponize that Gemini line to dig into her real-life relationship history.
The internet immediately connected the Gemini reference to British actor Louis Partridge.
Oh.
The timeline there is well documented by the tabloids. They were linked in late 2023, made their red carpet debut in 2024, and reportedly split in December 2025. Fans operate like forensic analysts.
They really do. They've even connected that bathroom line lyric to old viral paparazzi videos of Rodrigo and Partridge literally following each other to the bathroom at an awards show.
Because they supposedly couldn't bear to be separated, yeah. Tabloid culture is the engine of modern pop music.
Even right now, in April 2026, paparazzi photos of her grabbing dinner with Cameron Winter from the band Geese are going insanely viral.
Oh, that sparked the most hilarious dark internet meme. Fans took her old lyrics and joked, "I got my driver's license last week and there's a bomb in my car."
It's just so funny, but so intense.
It highlights how rapidly fans consume her personal life as content. Reports suggest that dinner was simply a meeting about a charitable album collaboration, but the internet requires drama. They turn an everyday dinner into a massive narrative.
Which brings us to the collision of that messy internet culture and the incredibly polished, ruthless reality of the pop industrial complex.
The clash of the titans.
Right. The visuals and the marketing for Drop Dead are where these two worlds crash into each other. Let's talk about the music video.
It is a visual feast, directed by Petra Collins. She's famous for pioneering that surreal, glittery aesthetic on the first season of Euphoria. And they spared no expense here.
They actually shot it at the Palace of Versailles in France.
They did. But the fashion choices inside that grand palace are fascinating. She isn't wearing a massive ball gown. She is leaning heavily into what fashion magazines are dubbing pajama core.
Pajama core, I love it.
She's running down these opulent gold-leafed hallways, wielding a pink electric guitar, wearing a Chloe pre-fall 2026 baby doll dress, and these vintage sheer lacy slips.
It creates an incredible visual dissonance, right? The intimate bedroom attire placed against the height of European monarchy.
It does. However, it also sparked immediate controversy. Several media critics felt the sheer pink hoodies and lacy slips were too heavily sexualized, arguing it relied too much on Collins' euphoria shock value.
Though feminist analysts strongly defended the styling, they argue it's a deliberate exploration of the boundary between youthful innocence and the sexual maturity of a 23-year-old woman.
Which makes sense.
It's a direct pushback against that conservative double standard where female artists are trapped. You know, criticized for covering up, but heavily scrutinized the second they show skin to express bodily autonomy.
And underneath all that profound artistic expression sits a foundation of cold, hard economics.
Always.
Wearing that unreleased Chloe collection in a blockbuster music video is essentially a billboard signaling her transition into a global luxury brand ambassador. It drives luxury sales.
But if we are unpacking the economics, we have to look at the 7-version situation.
No, the Livy's HQ drama.
Yeah, this is where the marketing gets super aggressive. A highly prominent fan account, Livy's HQ, which the industry widely believes is operated directly by Rodrigo's management team.
Which is an open secret, basically.
Right. They started a massive social media campaign pressuring fans to buy all 7 versions of the single on iTunes.
You've got the original version, karaoke, sing-along, acoustic, instrumental, a sped-up version for TikTok, and an Apple Music video box set.
Which is wild. Why are there so many?
This raises an important question about industry mechanics. Releasing multiple versions is standard practice for major labels right now. It is a known mechanism to game the Billboard charts.
But why does Billboard weight the charts that way? Why does an iTunes purchase matter so much more than someone listening on Spotify all day?
Because of financial friction. Billboard's algorithm values the active commitment of a consumer pulling out a credit card and spending $1.29 significantly more than a user passively letting a song stream while they sleep.
Ah, so the label knows this, and they create multiple low-effort variations to convince superfans to spend that $1.29 7 different times.
Exactly, multiplying their chart power. But the backlash from her own fans was swift. You see a massive friction of values here. Rodrigo's core fan base prides itself on progressive, Gen Z, anti-capitalist ideals.
Right, they use those exact values to critique the corporate behavior of other pop stars.
So when they're suddenly being heavily pressured to buy the same song 7 times just to inflate a chart metric, it shatters the illusion of an organic fan-artist relationship. It places a huge financial burden on teenagers.
So how do you reconcile the authentic, messy indie girl with the massive corporate machine pushing 7 different digital versions of a single track?
Well, her team clearly recognized they were walking a dangerous tightrope, because the way they counterbalanced this corporate push was a brilliant pivot to physical, analog authenticity.
The dive bar shows.
Yes. Right in the middle of this massive digital chart-chasing controversy, she executes a hard pivot. She makes an unannounced surprise appearance at the second weekend of Coachella, performing Drop Dead Live alongside Addison Rae.
And immediately after that massive stage, she flies to New York and announces these secret pop-up dive bar shows with barely 24 hours notice.
She shows up at Pete's Candy Store in Brooklyn, and the bitter end, playing to a room of 50 stunned locals with just one acoustic guitarist. She strips away the synths, the strings, and the marketing.
Then she flies back to LA to play an invite-only show at the Echo. She runs through a 13-song setlist, reinventing tracks like Vampire, and her team enforces a strict, total ban on all cell phones.
No phones allowed, just the sweat, the crowd, and the music. It serves as a palate cleanser.
It completely resets the media narrative from corporate sellout back to raw, authentic artist. And it's all laying the groundwork for her upcoming Saturday Night Live gig on May 2nd, where she's both hosting and acting as the musical guest.
It is the physical to digital pipeline operating at maximum efficiency. The label uses the gritty roots of Brooklyn dive bars to wash away the sterile commerce of the iTunes store.
So what does this all mean? We've looked at the intricate dream pop architecture they built to manipulate tension. We've decoded how a 1950s Sylvia Plath poem was flipped into a modern anthem of romantic projection.
We've explored how you, the listener, are being given permission to romanticize your internet stalking through TikTok trends.
And we've watched a massive pop star navigate the incredibly messy tension between raw indie authenticity and high-stakes music industry capitalism. Drop Dead isn't just a song, it's a declaration that she has fully transitioned into a legacy artist.
You know, it does leave us with one final lingering thought. We are watching pop stars and their management teams package messy human authenticity with terrifying precision.
They really are.
From curated dive bar pop-ups to perfect pajama core aesthetics, if fans are already treating her lyrics like a customizable template to score their own lives, at what point does the pop star step back entirely?
Oh, wow.
Like, do we just let AI generate hyper-personalized heartbreak anthems for every individual listener, completely bypassing the human artist? At what point does authenticity just become another luxury product we're buying?
Now that is a thought to keep you up at night. Are we connecting with an artist or just buying a perfectly mirrored reflection of our own anxiety? Maybe it's a little bit of both. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your eyes open, and we'll see you next time.